he was on to the next play, guarded, rebounded, did a lot of the little things too down the stretch that were important. So.
Is this like the most resilient that you're seeing from your team? I mean, up 12 to give that away and then still find a way to win in overtime.
Yeah, I thought I thought we started well, and then I thought we played a little tight. Like in the second quarter, in the third quarter, again we got down. I think like 9 or 10 or something like that, and guys bounced back right away. We went on a big run, coming out of the timeout, and changed the momentum and changed the energy in the building. And then they could have easily hung their head into overtime, but they didn't. And so they really kind of a little bit like we've talked about it all year. They're just better. We're just better when we have a desperate situation. So.
And lastly, just Nikola, just what he gave you defensively and hitting those big shots.
Yeah, he was awesome. He was great. I mean, he fought Jamal, who's been kicking our butt through a lot of the series. He really fought him, and was shot ready when the ball came to him. No hesitation, let it fly, and obviously 2 big threes. So, but I thought he made a lot of other really good little plays too. So.
When you finally break through in a series like this, what does it do for the confidence in the room? And I mean, I know we can't get ahead of ourselves here, but you finally kind of did what you set out to do.
Yeah, I think what what we liked today was just we were far more aggressive. We just kind of we didn't follow them around. We didn't let them run their offense like it was a practice script. We got into them a little bit more. We battled everything. Their catches, their ball pressure was better. Point of attack defense was better. So.
What did you see in the final 3 minutes of regulation, and what is the process there of trying to decide whether or not to call a timeout in those instances?
Which ones?
Just the whole final 2:40 as it got to 9-6-3.
Yeah, I mean they made 3 threes in a row. Always like to save my timeouts to the very end if possible. So I thought, for the most part, I trusted the guys that were out there. So.
Chris, with Ant and just the energy and the determination that he has, do you think that maybe in the third quarter affected the rest of the team, or maybe just his emotion? How much does that maybe affect the rest of the guys?
Absolutely, I think definitely. If people feed off him in the huddle. Getting downhill with the force he was able to do so in the second half in particular, and then making the right play. In the first half, I thought we fought the game a lot. We played in the crowd and didn't find the kickouts that were there. In the second half, we did. So I thought he and Mike did a really good job of kind of taking turns of operating out a pick and roll down the stretch. So.
Chris, we've seen Ant in these last 2 games have that high-level success he can have, but do it while both Rudy and Carl are on the floor. We didn't see that a lot during the regular season. What's kind of been the key to making all 3 of those guys work together while Ant is kind of going off himself?
I think a lot of it has to do with the spacing, the better spacing that we have, and the ball will move. Guys will draw attention to each other. We've still got to reestablish and continue to reestablish the chemistry between Cat and Ant. I thought we saw it in pieces tonight.
Just going back to Nikola for a second, just what does it say about him that he, in that overtime, after not really having much of an offensive game going, that he's able to hit those shots the way he did?
Yeah, no, I think one of the things that he does really, really well as a offensive player is make spot threes, and sometimes he doesn't maybe trust his shot as much as I certainly do. I think he's a really, really good shooter. We tell him all the time, just be ready and let it go.
And then this is probably an easier lesson to teach after the win, but what's the main lesson that you want to impose upon your guys after those final 3 minutes of regulation?
Yeah, I mean, we gotta continue to get into something. I think that's part of the problem is we get down and we're trying to close out the game too early. So.
Chris, is there an update on Kyle? He lost the game.
No update. No, I just know he's gone to the eye specialist. So
he was hitting the eye. That's where the injury was.
Chris, you guys allowed Denver to shoot 84% in that short mid-range 4 to 14 feet area in Game 3, and you held them to 35% on 26 shots tonight. What do you think is the biggest difference in why you're able to be successful in that part of the floor tonight?
Well, I didn't think they were able to walk cleanly into those shots that they had been doing for the first few games.
And then the minutes with Cat and Smalls around him were much better tonight than they were in the first 3 games.
Yeah.
What do you think you guys found with that group or those groupings that worked?
Yeah, we put out a lineup that they had to guard a little more honestly, and Cat did actually a good job of establishing good position, playing physical, playing through the contact, drawing fouls, getting to the post.
With the switch-heavy defenses, what they've done with Carl, like, how pivotal is it for him to really crash the offensive glass?
Yeah, when he's down there, for sure, we definitely want him to do that. He was active on the glass tonight. We just want to try to limit the crashing from the perimeter with him. But, I think he did a really good job tonight of keeping some balls alive, if not getting them back himself. I guess he has 2 offensive rebounds here, but it feels like he was way more active on the glass than that. I'm sure he was. But yeah, it's the way that they're allowing him, they're just wrestling him all over the floor, and he's got to find a way to impose his size, and he did a good job tonight.
In those spots, can you read the game to try to make sure you're down there, like when shots are going up, or is there an art to that? I mean, I know he plays on the perimeter a lot, but just trying to work your way down there when you think a shot's going up.
Yeah, I think sometimes again it's spacing related. Like he gets a switch and he wants to take guys into like the mid post area, and we need to open up the floor against all that switching. We need to open up that floor, maybe value the dunker a little bit more, for sure.
It's a small sample size, the playoff series, but what can this do for Ant overall? Just this experience.
Listen, I mean, yeah. He's building on what he did last year in the playoffs, which is impressive, for a player of his age. We know he's not afraid of the moment. He's seeing a lot of different defenses and looks and stuff like that. But the most important thing is his experience. He's just going through this. I mean, we've said it many times in and around our facility. Like the biggest shame about like Nas and Jaden not playing it's not because we can't have matchups or we can't use of course we miss their production and all that stuff, but the biggest shame is that those guys aren't getting the experience of playing playoff basketball at this point in their career. So that's invaluable, and for young players to do that at this time of the season, bodes well for what they know they needed to get better on and carry with them into the summer and into next season. So thanks.
To the wall, you guys did what you had to do tonight. What was it like out there battling, and how did you feel with what you did production-wise?
Man, I just want to give all the credit to Nikhil. He played very, very well tonight, and he was the MVP tonight.
I think Ant last night after the game, you're kind of telling your teammates, hey, after game 3, you're telling them, hey, this isn't over. They got to win 4. Like, how did you try to set a tone for these guys and just like keep them going?
I mean, that's just the truth. It's 3-0. I mean, you got to win one more game to send us home, and I was just telling the truth. I mean, they still got to win one more game to go home, and we got another chance to win another game and come back to Minnesota. So, I mean, I take pride in. I didn't want to say I got swept. I don't ever want to say I got swept in my career. So, I definitely took it personally tonight.
Coach was saying that he thinks you getting these opportunities to play in these big moments in playoff games is just so good for your career. What do you feel like in these moments, and does it feel different from a regular game?
Man, I'm just thankful. Like all the work I put in is just. Timberwolves did a great job this summer of putting the right people around me. Also, my trainer back home, Kier Jordan. I mean, we was working, man. So like it's just showing, and I'm thankful, man, and I'm gonna continue to work.
And you guys up by 1, you get the ball, you come down, you hold it, then you take the 3. What's going through your mind when you hit that clutch 3-pointer?
I mean, I wasn't passing the ball. I was taking a shot. I was gonna live with whether I lost us the game or, we won, and I end up hitting the shot. But man, like I said, man, it's all Nikhil, big shots in the overtime. Mike Conley, big shots. Rudy, my teammates played great tonight, man. I know on the stat sheet it looked like I had an exceptional game, but they won the game for us.
More on Nikhil, just not only the job he does hitting the two shots in overtime, but just what has he done defensively for you guys?
Man, he's been everything for us, man. like missing Jaden is definitely big, but I mean he stepped in and just been that defensive player that we needed. And I tell him all the time, man, shoot the ball. And I'm just happy for him, man. He getting his chance and he's showcasing his abilities, like I said earlier. And yeah, it's definitely a good thing.
The arena seemed pretty dead in the middle of the third. You guys go down 9. Could you just sense that you kind of had to provide some kind of jolt?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we down 9. I know my team. I know they count on me to, pick us up, and that's just what I do. I feel like in those moments, that's when I come alive the most, when we go down, and, yeah, pretty much.
Their rally there at the end of the fourth, I just saw you give a Porter Jr. a look like, geez, man, like, what do you think?
Crazy, bro. He hit – the shots that he hit in the fourth was like double clutch. He only hit 2 threes, and it was in the fourth, right? So that's wild. But yeah, I mean, I tip my hat to those guys, man. They played their ass off tonight.
And 2 big games in a row from you here. I know you haven't played a lot of games over the course of the year with both Kat and Rudy in the lineup. How are you, the 3 of you guys, kind of navigating this? All 3 of you playing at the same time and having success individually and collectively.
Man, Finchy does a great job of just putting us in the right positions to be successful, and he's a great coach, and he's offensive minded, and he's, like I said, he's great, man. So it's all Finchy. It's not us. It's Finchy. He tells us, we watch his film. He definitely sits down and watch film with me to show me like areas I can attack and be more aggressive with them 2 on the floor. So I mean, all credit to him.
Can you, Coach was talking about how you guys are a little bit more proactive on defense. You were letting them walk into their offense tonight. Can you just talk about that kind of how you were able to kind of dictate things more on the defensive end than you have been earlier in the series?
Man, shout out to Cat, man. He he did something that we've been asking him for a minute, and he did it tonight. And I'm gonna call him when I get in the car and tell him we need it again, Game 5. And he pressured I mean, I know Jokic had a great night, but I mean he just pressured his vision and made it hard for him. And like I said, shout out to Cat, man. He did a great job defensively tonight.
And at the end of Game 3 in the locker room, couldn't help but notice you were sitting in your locker, kind of looking at yourself in the mirror, quiet. What were you telling yourself in that moment to kind of galvanize yourself for a game like this tonight?
I can't get swept. Yeah, I can't. It can't be a great story if I say I got swept. So, I was telling myself that I went to Cat house, I think, the next day and was talking to Cat. And like I said, man, he did a great job tonight, being in a high wall, just being a presence. And, he's one of the reasons we won the game.
Where do you see your elevation? Is it as a player or a leader?
I give all the credit to my teammates, man. They put me in all the positions to be successful, and they're going to continue to do that, and I continue to step up in those moments.
And when you kind of look back at film of a night like this, how critical are you of yourself?
I played terrible, if you ask me. We was up 12. We was up 9. I checked in the game. I took a bad 3. We go up 12. I took like 3 bad threes, 3 terrible possessions, and I damn near shot us out the game. So I didn't play that good tonight. To myself, I was just telling C. Hines that. So I would definitely be in the gym tomorrow working on my game some more.
How much do you learn, maybe more in a playoff setting than maybe a regular season setting, when a team is really digging into maybe your tendencies and things like that?
It brings the most out of me, because most teams want to cut off my left hand, but it shows me that I actually can go right, and it gives me more confidence to go right. And like I showed tonight, I could go right and finish, and that's what they was giving me, and I was taking it. So I mean, I love the playoffs. It's just my second time, but I love the feeling, man. I love the crowd. It's a blessing, man, to be here.
We know why you had the left sleeve on. Why'd you decide that it was so important to make sure you don't have the right sleeve?
What sleeve? It's my shooting side. I don't wanna wear none over here, man. I want this to be super clean, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Obviously I think it's a little bit easier to take away a good lesson from a win, but what's the biggest lesson you guys can take away from those last 3 minutes of regulation?
Like I said, man, I put that on myself, those last 3 minutes. Like I said, I shot us out of the game. And next game, if we in that situation, we up 6 or 8 with 3 minutes, I'm definitely getting downhill to the rim or like getting to a mid-range shot. Like, I'm not gonna settle. I settled for 3 bad, terrible threes. And it won't happen again.
And you had your fifth 30-point game in the postseason. That passes Kobe Bryant for second most for a player 21 or younger, behind only LeBron. What does it mean?
Shout out to Kobe, man.
What does it mean to you to be in the same era as those players, and what do you think has allowed you to reach this level of success so early in your playoff career?
It's just stats. I mean, I haven't. Those guys has won championships, so you can't mention me with. I mean, number-wise, you probably 30-point games, but I haven't did anything. I haven't made it out the first round, so. I mean, it's great to be mentioned with those guys, but yeah, I still got work to do. Yep.
Thanks. Michael, 18-12 in overtime. What do you think the difference was there?
Oh, we didn't play any defense. Yeah, for overtime, we closed regulation 12-0 to force the overtime, which is great to see, but 18 points in 5 minutes. They shot 75 from the field, and they were 4 of 6 from 3. And first game of the series that we did not win the paint battle, we did not win the rebounding battle. And so give them credit. I didn't think we were going to go undefeated the whole postseason. So I'll be curious to see how we react, going home for Game 5.
How difficult is that to stomach, given that 12-0 run to end the game, and obviously, had a chance to win it?
Yeah, I mean, it's, obviously, Nikola makes a free throw. Now, instead of it being a tie game, we're up 1. It's a little bit more pressure on them. They got to score. And we played great defense in that last possession, KCP on Edwards, to not allow them to score and walk off. But, you hold them to 16 points in the fourth quarter, and they had 18 in 5 minutes. So, once again, that's the hardest thing to stomach about this game is that when the game was on the line, we were unwilling and unable to get necessary stops.
What was the difference in your eyes, the rebounding in the paint tonight versus the other 3 games?
They were ultra aggressive, 14 offensive rebounds. I think, once again, we knew they were going to play with a desperation, like all teams do when they face elimination. And, to be out rebounded 51-47, but 14 offensive rebounds, thankfully only 11 points. Then in the paint, I think that aside from the overtime, the key stretch was in that third quarter. I think they went on a 25-10 run. And, Anthony Edwards was getting his, and as was everybody else. So we have to be a lot better, a lot more disciplined, a lot more physical, and a lot more urgent to try to close this team out.
Coach, what was the difference in that? What was the difference in that 25-10 run and come out in the second half?
Well, they scored. We didn't. We didn't execute. They turned up their aggression, both offensively and defensively. They played downhill. And we were flustered, and it carried over to the offensive end where we had a hard time executing for good shots. So, give them credit. We shot 44 from the field. They shot 45. It's going to happen. We'll watch the film and figure out how we can be better come Game 5.
Just with the chance to close out in 4, I mean, just how disappointing is that aspect of it? Like, just the opportunity to close out and you couldn't complete it.
It's disappointing. I don't understand the question. I mean, we lost. We're not going to go undefeated in the postseason. We're not going to go 16-0. So, yeah, we lost the game. We had our chances, but, it's, we got to go home and regroup and not feel sorry for ourselves and get ready to play against a team that has some life now.
Michael, I apologize if you said this, but do you think it was fatigue in overtime that 18 points, or what do you think? Do you think it was just being, excited that you came all the way back? What do you think?
No, I don't think it was fatigue. I mean, they were just as tired. You look at the minutes that their starters played. So I'm not going to use any readily available excuse about fatigue or anything else. They played better in the overtime than we did. And again, you look at just the fourth quarter compared to overtime, and to close out a game 12-0 when you got the necessary stops and you got the necessary baskets on the other end to force overtime, and you'd hope that there'd be some momentum carrying into that, and we didn't get that, and that's the disappointing part.
Coach, how would you evaluate Nikola's night? He seemed much more aggressive in terms of scoring, but it also felt like he missed shots he usually makes.
Yeah, I mean, he's banged up. He's playing hard. Played 39 minutes tonight. 43 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. We got a lot of guys out there trying to do whatever they can to help this team win. I agree with your point, Katie. I do think that he was trying to be very, very aggressive. And it was great to see him get to the foul line tonight, 8 of 12. You know, he was didn't get there once last game, so got to the foul line. And, again, you know, one free throw here, one free throw there, and maybe that game doesn't even get to overtime.
Just from your vantage point, was there any adjustment that stood out from Minnesota's end, or is this really just kind of played out that they kind of just out-hustled in a lot of ways?
Yeah, I mean, nothing that jumps out. You know, I mean, they went small for a little bit, you know, with at one point in that second half, you know, Cat as a 5 and like 4 smalls around him when Gobert was out. You know, but I didn't think they doubled Nikola a few times tonight. They hadn't done that in the first 3 games. I'm sure there are a few other things that are noticed throughout the game, but we'll watch the film to see maybe what some of those were. But I do think your second point is really what it comes down to. You know, we just had, you know, a couple of costly mistakes at big times. And, you know, you can't do that when you're trying to close out a team. And, you know, the hope is that we'll be a lot better in Game 5.
Coach, the Nickeil Alexander-Walker is pressuring Jamal the entire length of the floor. You guys have seen that pretty much all season. Is it slowing down the offense a little bit, and what are some ways you guys can get into your looks a little bit quicker?
Yeah, I mean, give him credit. He's doing a really good job, to your point. He's harassing, hounding. You know, we got to look to set screens for Jamal earlier, maybe in the backcourt, free him up, get him some momentum up the floor, and, you know, maybe get the ball out of Jamal's hand so he's not fighting that for 94 feet every possession, because that can really wear you down, as well as getting maybe a secondary ball handler out there with him. But, yeah, I mean, we could be a lot better on both ends of the floor. Gave ourselves a chance tonight, came up a little bit short. Thought our guys played hard. Was really proud of that effort to close out the fourth quarter. But we just didn't sustain it for that last 5 minutes. And that's what you need in a closeout game. That's why these closeout games are the toughest games in a series. Appreciate it, guys. Ladies.
12 in overtime. What do you think the difference was there?
I mean, they just made more shots than us in overtime. Conley banked in a 3. I mean, they just scored more than us.
Do you think you guys was it fatigue at all? Do you think you guys were a little bit, you know, overly excited? You would cut that 12-point deficit with 2 minutes left and forced overtime? Like, what do you think it was there?
What are you asking?
What do you were you tired in overtime? Were you overly excited after coming back all the way from 12 points down? Like, you know.
No, I think they just played better in their home crowd, fighting to keep the series alive. I think it's pretty simple as that. I mean, we played well in offense. We just didn't get enough stops.
I know you're not the primary defender on Ant, but throughout the series, you've heard how important it is to prevent him from getting downhill. And what does that look like? What do you guys need to do to prevent his opportunities at the rim, I guess?
Just, you know, be in the shrink spot, you know, show more help, take a foul if we need to. But he's a good player. He's going to get downhill sometimes. So, you know, just try to keep our matchups, to be disciplined on the defensive end.
When you've got a guy in Nickeil who's pressuring you full court for 48 minutes, how difficult is it to get into offense quickly when somebody like that is pressuring you the entire way down?
I mean, we've seen it before. It's going to be like that all playoffs. So, you know, just, you know, run up the court faster instead of playing with it or something, or, you know, letting guys know to play a little earlier. Just, you know, simple things that we can clean up, or set in the back screen or screen in the backcourt. You know, different things, but that's going to happen on playoffs. That's not really like an issue.
Mike had he had a couple threes right towards the end of the fourth quarter. Didn't really touch the ball a ton towards the end of this game. It's sometimes it's tough when it's you and Joker obviously running the 2-man game most of the time. But is there a way to continue to involve just everybody else within that?
Yeah, I mean, this guy's not looking at the play, just guarding Mike. So it's tough when they're guarding like that. We can only use it to our advantage. It'll find him in transition. You know, a lot of people lose guys in transition, so he can be more downhill. But you know, we're just playing the game.
On a positive, Joker went 5 of 8 from 3. How encouraging was that scene? Do you think that could lead to them defending him a little bit differently going forward? Yeah, I mean, Joe his shots. Joe played really good. You know, he had it going all night. So I gotta be better. I gotta play better on the stretch or find ways to involve myself a little more when showing them that much attention. So, but they got two centers out there. They're clogging up the paint. You know, he's gonna get those open looks at the top of the key. So when he's knocking them down, we're dangerous to guard.
Jamal, I think only 20 assists tonight, which is pretty uncharacteristic for you guys. Usually among the league leaders in assists. What were they doing defensively to kind of mitigate that?
Nothing really. I just thought we missed a lot of good looks, and that happens, man. That happens. We're a little disappointed because we had a great opportunity to do something we haven't done with this group. So, we're not down on ourselves. It's just we really wanted to. We came here from game 2, really wanted to close it out. So that's a missed opportunity. But we're still in the lead, still got a commanding lead, and we're going to go back home to our place and do what we need to do.
That was actually going to be, kind of my next question, where you guys kind of disappointed that you guys didn't, kind of close this out. Even if you have, 3-1 lead, you got a chance to go home and close out at home. What's the opportunity specifically that you missed by not closing out tonight?
Just, we haven't been in this position in a long time, or if we have, I don't know. But with this group, we really wanted to do that. We really wanted to come out and have a sweep under our belt. Didn't happen. They fought like hell all game long. Even when we, put a scare in their heart a little bit, they kept fighting, kept playing, and the crowd was into it. But we just got to go home now and do what we do and, not get down on ourselves or not compound it, and we'll be fine.
Jamal, do you think it's significant adjustments you guys have to make, or is it more just doing what you guys have been doing for the entire series, going ahead to Game 5?
Just doing what we know works, doing the game plan, doing what we worked on in shoot around, doing what we worked on in practice, what we see in the game, all the adjustments we make. Just do that and do it better than we did tonight.
Cool. Thank you, Jamal.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Mike, today at shoot around, you talked about the mindset that you guys would have to have with your backs against the wall and how you would approach this game. And how did you feel that your teammates all came together and had that same approach?
Yeah, I thought we did. I thought we played with a sense of urgency that we haven't seen, kind of all season. Obviously, with the back against the wall, we brought out all the stops we could, and all the guys, who played tonight, was ready to go. Austin came in and gave us great minutes. Nikhil obviously doing what he was doing at the end of the game and all game, frankly, against, one of the better guards in the league. And, just everybody's attention to detail was huge.
It seems like that bench piece has been so critical and kind of missing in the first 3 games. And is that kind of to get the next one, do you have to see that bench piece again really come through?
Oh, yeah, we do. We're a team that's relied on that kind of all season, and our second unit and guys who come in the game need to continue to be confident and go out there and play freely and not be so built up with stress or anything. Like, just go play free and have fun, because when they're out there playing well, it really makes our team complete and gives guys a little bit more rest to have legs down at the end of the quarters and to be ready to go at the end of the games.
Asked a few guys this in the past, but why do you think Anthony Edwards' runs are such a jolt to the entire team?
Well, I think it's his energy. The energy he brings, his personality. When he's playing like that, you see the joy, you see his, the kid come out of him, and you can't help but get excited with him. He kind of just brings everybody along. He's just a fun dude to be around when he's going like that, and we just love to be a part of those runs, and we need more of them.
What's the message now, like Ant talked about, not really wanting to get swept in his career, and there's a lot of joy that comes from tonight of making sure that the same effort is followed 2 days from now when the back is still firmly pressed against the wall?
It's just, for real, it's just taking it one game at a time, do the same things we were doing previously before this game, like last night, play Call of Duty all night with Ant, and been playing the last few days, try to switch up the mojo. And if we're doing that, let's do it. Let's have fun. Let's get a dub however we can. But seriously, just be who we are and continue to do the right things. Attention to detail is huge for this team. We have a lot of talent, but as long as we continue to fight, we'll be all right.
Do you hold your own?
I'm low key better than everybody on the team, so I don't like to talk about it too much.
I think we can probably go through Carl's Twitch stream and confirm that or not.
You don't need it. I don't want to give y'all my name, but if y'all look me up, y'all would know.
Mike, you've known Nikhil longer than almost anybody on this team, probably. What is it like to see him stepping up and thriving in the biggest moments of his career right here?
Man, I'm just proud of him, honestly. He's been through a lot in his early career, and he's been on a few teams now, and I was lucky enough to be teammates with him in Utah, and he's just grown every year. Just his ability to continue to work, continue not to let himself get too down, because there's been times where he doesn't play, not in the rotation, and now all of a sudden he comes to a different team. Still wasn't kind of in the rotation to begin with, and in and out, and gets his opportunity on the biggest stage, against one of the better teams in the league, and really shows who he is, really shows his work ethic, his resiliency, and just really happy for him, and hopes that this is the beginning of something special for him.
Mike, you've played in elimination games before, and you'll have to play in another one, the rest of the way of this series as long as it continues. But in your opinion, where's the fine line between playing desperate but still maintaining poise in playing in elimination games? Yeah,
that's a good question. I think the desperation has to show on all the the 50-50 balls, the sprinting back on defense, and stopping a 2-on-1 break, like things like that have to be just completely just all out effort. But when it comes to the X's and O's and manipulating the game, you still have to be aware of situational basketball, what the time and score, who's on the floor, who do we try and attack, like all that stuff still has to be on your mind. But like I said, the effort things you can't teach, and that's where we have to be desperate at.
Mike, in Game 3, the Nuggets shot 16 of 19 in that 4 to 14 feet range, 84%. Tonight you held them to 9 of 26, 35%. Just what do you think is the biggest difference between, the way that you guys approached trying to take that part of their offensive attack away in Game 4 versus in the first few games of the series?
Well, I think, just being there for each other. I think a lot of the times we're just trying to let guys play one-on-one and, space out to our men. And today I think we did a much better job of, crowding areas, crowding Jokic in the paint, crowding Jamal, just making them make tough contested shots. And they're great at doing that. They are, but I thought tonight we just did a much better job of not letting them get to spots so comfortably. We kind of put more resistance on that, and Rudy was big. I think Kat, Kyle, everybody was just really doing a good job of being physical. You hope to hold them to those numbers again and see if we can come out a win.
Mike, can you take us in the huddle after regulation? So they go on the 12-0 run. You guys are up 96-84. They tie it. Overtime is forced. What's going through your mind? What's going through the team's mind?
I'm not gonna lie. I was like, how how did that happen? But no, at that point it was like, hey, nothing we can do about the last 2 minutes. We can control the next 5. Let's come out here as a group and lock back in on what we did to get that lead. And it came down to everybody else. Ant did a lot of the work getting us to the end of the fourth, but Nikhil made some big shots. I mean, everybody was just moving the ball and just keeping the ball moving on the offensive end, and we weren't so stagnant like we were the last 2 minutes of that fourth quarter. And because of that, I think it allowed us to be a little bit less predictable, which I think kind of slows us down at the end of games. And defensively, we made a lot of great plays. We made a lot of good efforts of getting out, contesting shots, rebounding, just all those little things that helped us win the game.
Mike, it was probably the end, similar at the end of the Laker game too. That stagnancy in the last couple minutes. That's been kind of this team's MO when playing with the lead late. Like, how do you break that habit? Because like you know what to do, but it always seems to kind of revert to that. What's the process like of breaking that?
We just gotta be willing to not fight it so much. I think it's hard. You get a guy like Ant or Cat who gets going. They want the ball. Like they just, going to tell everybody to move out the way. They try to get into their game. But we have to be better as a team. Like, hey, let's not settle for step back jumpers, or let's not settle for just the post up. Let's get to something good. The movement obviously has been working for us. The cutting, the spacing, the things that we were able to accomplish, and giving those guys like Ant and Cat room to maneuver. And so we just got to continue to fight those urges. And I know it's not easy. You got a lot of guys who can win us games, and but hopefully we just continue to learn from it. And that's all I can do.
Call bank or
no, me? No, I did not.
For sure.
Nikola, Jamal just called it a missed opportunity. How frustrating is it to come all the way back down 12 with 2 minutes left and then lose it in overtime?
Yeah, we had opportunity even in a regulation. I missed a free throw, and then in the end they were scoring a lot. We didn't. I think I missed again a couple easy ones, couple floaters. At the end, at 3, I was wide open. So I mean, it is what it is. But we need to do a better job collectively, individually. So hopefully we can do that.
Malone pointed to the defense in overtime. What do you think? Why do you think there were so many breakdowns there? 18 points in 5 minutes.
I mean, Alexander Walker made the two corner threes. Of course, what's the name? Ant made a tough bucket in the end. Not tough or whatever. We're supposed to do, make someone else beat him, or just send another body or whatever. Just to give him the different look, because he was playing one-on-one basically, and I think he's one of their best players. So we need to do a better job of just making someone else beat us.
Nikola, did anyone encourage you to take more threes, or were those just the shots that presented themselves against that defense?
I don't know. It was going in, so I was kind of, why not?
Are you feeling any more confident in that shot now than you were at different points in the season?
I'm confident. I think sometimes I make, sometimes I miss.
Nikola, as a group, did you guys feel like that this was a chance for you guys to do something that you guys hadn't done as a group in terms of?
I mean, yeah, of course, we had the opportunity to close the series. We just didn't, They were fighting. They were, let's say, desperate, but it is what it is.
Nikola, there's always a balance between at the end of the game when you and Jamal go with the two-man game versus Mike. He got really hot towards the end there with a couple of those threes. How do you guys continue to balance that and keep getting other guys involved, even at the end of games where it's mostly going to be you and Jamal?
Yeah, I mean, I always say it's tough for the other guys. We always give them we know what we're gonna do in the end of the game, but it's really hard to be ready and prepared for that one shot or whatever it is. So I think I'm really thankful for the guys that they're not pissed or whatever. But usually I think we're doing a good job, but today we didn't. So.
Nikola, anything specific you'd like to change for Game 5 when you guys go back home?
I know we rebound. They had 14 offensive rebounds, couple big ones. So I don't know. Probably that's going to be the most important thing. Thank you, guys.